Alright, so welcome back. So right now I am here looking at how to become a business consulting freelancer from Zero to Mastery Academy structure. Sorry, from the Zero to Mastery Academy and uh, made by Paul Mendes. So yes, yesterday I was here or in the last couple days, I was looking is to wrap around my mind with the how to find land paying consulting clients, and ultimately the entire model here, or in the entire course, at least the model that I have solved, and that is uh, getting started to building a freelance consulting career and then getting started as a business freelance consultant, and now where to find land high paying consulting clients. There are also some other sources that I have pondering around this idea. For example, Alex Omosi is one of them. When he mentioned about how to or the thing that you need to know, especially when you're starting a business, right? And seems right now here we're looking ourselves as a service provider, and after all, we're tied is to time or any milestones. So the whole idea of this is, according to Alex Amos, is to sell the business, not sell the service. And by business is, what is the idea, the fundamental of that exchange, right? So this is something that I'm still is looking at how to do that and what to do, and what will be the business that I would like to sell, rather than a service, because an entry level will be is you apply is for a job, and the other is then you starting to offer a service. And once you become perhaps your CEO, or that you know what are the service or the product you want to provide, then you want it to sell it the entire business. So to some bigger company acquire you, and so on, right? Uh, and again, because this is the game, part of the financial games, right? So then you try to sell your ideas or your investments or your business to someone else, and that your business is actually something that is uh, sellable, if that if that adjective exists, or if the business is not worthless, period, right? So because of that, okay, and since right now I'm looking is on how to wrap up this last section, especially because we passed through the aspect of the technology. We or I love is the technology that I'm working right now. I think it's because I believe the idea behind that. For example, that's why I choose the web and all the web technology beneath that, because it is an open market. It is a way where I learn a lot of all of this stuff that I know right now, uh, technical speaking, also my communication skills, and as a business consultant or someone that is forming or having this or receiving this formation on how to become a business consulting freelancer, while also learning about the finance in other videos that I have, especially looking at Morningstar Investing Classroom. So the sell aspect, which is something that I'm new to this, I'm gonna make a pause here because right now we are in the summer here in Argentina, and it is quite hot and humid. So it's a great mix. uh, to really hate summer or enjoy it. In my case, I enjoy it uh, unless it hits, let's say, 90 or 100 Fahrenheit. I think is that 45 degree to Fahrenheit. I think it's roughly nine. Okay, yeah. When temperature reach to uh, over 100 Fahrenheit, yeah, things are starting to get very different, not unpleasant, different. By that I mean is especially if it's it's a dry summer. Uh, that's great. It's bearable. Uh, however, when you add this or here, when you add this plus, let's say 7% or 80% of humidity, it's like man, that actually the thermal sensation increased to 43 or 1, 2, or 3 degrees over that, right? But in any case, well, so yeah, because here I'm looking at a self aspect, something that I slowly seeing this aspect and learn about this. Uh, so the cells is something, and again, I am new to that. And when Paul Mendes say, "Hey, this is a consultation cell tip to land more additional clients," when the main issue is about listening more, because most of the time freelancers go on and talk about themselves, why they're a good fit for the job that they're applying. They show recent jobs or previous jobs that they have worked that are similar to the job that they're applying to. Sorry, but they forgot actually to listen to the client, listen to what they say, how they say, and the idea here is that listen to the client, or especially listen more, is a very underrated skill. And the more you're able to listen to the client, perhaps it's not telling you the truth. And the more you're able to read at their body language, listen to what they say, you can use all of those fact finding to kind of guide you where the conversation is heading, and from there land more additional clients. So that's one consultation step. The other is use speed, especially when you want to get their attention, to try to get that as fast as possible. The other is solution selling process. Since the whole idea of this of that process, of the solution selling process, is to diagnose the needs of a prospect and then recommend the right product or service to solve the challenge. So this is again something new. This is part of the sales aspect of any business, uh, where I'm slowly integrating is all of these verbs and jargons, and see uh, what makes sense in which context they make sense as well. Uh, in particular, this solution selling process, uh, where the idea is instead of focusing is on the project, uh, focus focus is on the solution that you bring here. So the client need to understand that you're going to pass when they work with you. You're going to pass through a transformation, and that transformation is guiding you through the problems to solve and face the problems that they have. And the other is add value or add free value. And again, this is especially when we talk about is the solution selling process here, especially here. Right? and the top sell tips to land more additional clients or to land more clients. Uh, yeah, and the ad free value doesn't mean that you're gonna work for the client for free. In fact, it's that go above and beyond what your competition isn't doing. Uh, and the thing here is that tell to the client, hey, I already put this together for you. I would like to think what I would like to know what you think about it. So Paul Mendes, according to their experience, that the more you're able to listen more, use speed, solution selling, and add free value, even though that the client doesn't want to go with you, but if you continue to do this, you'll reach a point where you're starting to get busy, which is a good thing if you're prepared, and say no to clients and cherry picking which project do you want to work with. So be an active listener, and with these consultation sell tips, it's like putting a business guru, right? Where you see yourself as the solution to that uh, client's problem. So you are the missing piece to solve the client puzzle. And to dive deep into the solution selling process, especially if you're going to look for clients, all right, this is to find and land high paying consulting clients. Remember, here is top sell tips to land more consulting clients. Okay, so when you're gonna land client, I already know where to find them, or according to Paul Mendes, right? I know where to find them, like Upwork or your existing network. This is something very contextual. It's very contextual, my friend. It's very contextual. Perhaps your existing network is something that they don't want to do that, or they are not aligned to do that. Uh, and the other is the employment side. This is for the vast majority of people that they don't have any platform, and by platform I mean any financial substrat. Okay, so they don't have any family members that accumulate wealth, or someone that are benevolent to give away a particularly uh, free plan. I don't know how do you say that in English. So scholarship. That's right. That's right. A new word that I learned today. Scholarship. Okay. Um, and again, if you need and if you want and if you're in a position where you need to build this platform for you, uh, there's something that might help, especially the employment side. The employment side might help you to get some capitalization, and that allows you to move forward and to see where would you want to allocate your resource, not only your money but also your time and your attention. So with the solution selling process, and this is to land more additional clients, is that it all starts with the prospect. This is when you find the right prospect, and then you start to reach out to them. You try to get in front of them to get their attention, okay? And then you qualify them. Now, when you have a list of prospect, and then you choose what are a good fit for you, and this is all about asking the right questions, uh, and see are if can provide the value and solve their problems. And then you have this demo and discovery call. So this demo and discovery call is again even to do even more fact findings. Uh, Again, asking more questions about that, and to ultimately see if you can reach to some sort of agreement with the client. and say, hey, is are you gonna work with me, or is this gonna end right now so I can move on into the next project? You know, uh, and the other, okay, and the other is once you reach to some sort of agreement with the client, all right, you're going to add value plus send the proposal. And the idea here is that once you, as I already mentioned, once you reach to some sort of agreement with the client, and they tell you, hey, great, cool, send me more information about what you're gonna do, right? So that's when you're gonna use all of your experience in your past, uh, uh, all what you have learned and all your past experience, and then you may outline some couple options to the client. Let's say, hey, you want to go with this sort of options, or the idea here is to let them pick at least one of them. And again, Paul Mendes recommend follow this. Otherwise, you might get quickly. You might get. Otherwise, you might quickly get burnout and unmotivated, especially if you're not receiving any feedback, or any positive feedback from the market when you're starting to offer this service. Even though that you lower your, or you adjust your price or lower your price, and you tell the client that even though that you are new to the field, you are driven to provide exceptional results, uh, to build your image as a consultant, so things like that. And mhm, welcome to the market. Um, so yeah, so Paul Mendes recommend to follow this approach. Uh, Otherwise, you might get quickly burned out and unmotivated. So if you follow this process, you can put all of this into actions, and you can have so much success as a business consultant. And again, the whole process is to land more additional clients, right? So use the solution selling process. So listen more. Use the solution selling process, which is look out for your prospect, then you qualify them, and you do this demo and discovery call, and ultimately, if everything goes well, you send a proposal and add value to that. And also is use speed and add free value to that. So even though that the client perhaps doesn't want, or is unsure about working with you, especially perhaps because there is a ton of objections, you know, and in business or in this negotiation, half the battle is about objections. And the idea here is that the more you're able to listen to what the client say, ask the right question, and yeah, listen more, ask the right questions, and be on point, so you can find the root of all of these objections and tell the client the truth that matters, that you are the solution to their problem. And all of this, right? And this is something subtle. This is a very subtle aspect. Sorry. So this is a very subtle aspect of this, especially because in my case, since I'm new to this field of sales, uh, consciously, right? Because most of the time we do that, or with our friends or pal, or we want to sell We also sell our image to others, perhaps not directly, but we are constantly doing that. But right now is now that you put name and last name to things, it's a little bit more structure, and it helped me a lot of to organize my ideas and think how can I start it to be someone of value in the market and getting paid off that. So these objections can be boiled down into or in three main aspects. We can budget, time, and value. So is the objection is about budget? You might offering is a lower options perhaps, or is it value? You might is show them your previous work, all right, and especially when you have a sell leads or inbound sell leads, always following up consistently. And that is that you want that the client, that you want to be on top of their client's mind, right? Uh, Especially when you are trying to provide a service or solve their problem. And the other is get creative to stand out. Part of this series of videos that I'm doing here to learn about how to become a business freelancer, a Node.js developer, and the learn about the finance aspect as well, is part of this creative process where the whole idea for me is not necessarily stand up. Of course, it will draw attention, but the whole idea of doing this is to improve my English skill, my communication skill, written and oral, and how to become a business freelancer in the business world, and also the technical aspect. For example, with Node.js, is a web, it's a JavaScript runtime that allows you to build servers with an async input and output. A lot of jargon of that, but and again, the technical aspect and also the financial aspect of you as an economic actor in the society, right? And then protect your reputation at all costs. In order to have the most success, do this. So once I know how to land high-paying consulting clients, what are the things or the recommendation that Paul Mendes tell me, especially to start as this service or to provide a service, okay? Then you have is how to handle client payments, okay? And here, and how to handle client payments is to get that control from it from the start, because it will help you to avoid some common issues and problems that most freelancers and consultants may in this process, right? That, for example, they started to work for free, or they don't have any, or they don't sign any contract. Uh, so the whole idea is this is a way to invoice client. Get the service agreement signed, and inside of this agreement, never guarantee any result. Simply put, that you're gonna provide the best possible outcome uh, based on your experience, and clearly define the payment terms. This is something important. Clearly define the payment terms, and any additional fee that occur outside of this, or any fee that occur, uh, or any additional fee that occur is something out of the scope. And the client, uh, if the client wants to go something outside of that, they need to pay you. Then secure payment based on terms. So don't start the project without getting payment handled. If you're working hourly, you probably want to do that weekly or bi-weekly, especially if you're going to provide a service here. Sorry. So secure the payment based on the terms. So what are the so what are you providing to the client, the side of the project, and the length of the project? Okay, and then begin providing consulting service once you have already your payment secure. So, for example, again, if you're working hourly, you want to get that weekly or bi-weekly, or if you're working, yeah, or if you're working uh, perhaps with a milestone, you can tell the client, hey, I would like you to get me 50% upfront. And if the client comes with any excuse, so tell them that you can start to working on the project without that payment secure. And then look at the freelance websites and personal invoice. The idea here is especially is to see how most of these freelancing websites are ready do the invoice for you, whereas the personal invoice is something that you have to manually do that, but it's very, very much more enlightened. Uh, QuickBook in Soho. Soho is something that I have been used, and you need to get serious about money. You don't want to get ripped off by the market, so get serious about money. But it's like this. You want to get serious about money. So example here, I look at the example with Soho or QuickBooks. In the last section or the last video from the how to find and land high-paying consulting clients. So scaling to multiple consulting clients, and this is something that Paul Mendes mentioned, Alex Hermosi mentioned, and especially when when you starting a business, according to Alex Hermosi, it's like most business uh, fail because their business models are worthless because they offer is a tailored solution to the client. If they offering is a tailored solution to all of their clients, and that is not scalable. So the whole idea of this is scalability. So delivering or try to deliver the best possible outcome to the vast majority of people. So you have a uh, very profitable business. So the thing here is that okay, if you're starting to offering a service, how you can make that scalable, all right? Because for example, I will be tied to whatever client I started to offer a service, right? It will be highly tied to or the project, the milestone, or the yeah the project, okay, or the how do you say the project or the hours you put there. Depend how do you negotiate with the client. The other is offering you as a product, okay, that can scale, and that's one of the things that most of this business so most of this uh, online business aligned to this notion of scalability, right? And by that I mean is with the internet, now you have a huge amount of reach. You have a global reach, whether with other kind of business. Uh, so, for example, um business where you involves to move physical things, right? They are very hard to scale, and you have to manage each one of those joints in your entire supply chain, right? Uh, so with the internet, those costs are kept to a minimum, and then you can start to offering this service and things like that. So right now, what I can see is that perhaps offering is an e-commerce, okay, might be a business for itself, okay. So offering is a base e-commerce, okay, with any of the technology, perhaps Nox, Vue, and things like that. But offering is this technology or this e-commerce to all of those people out there, right? So that might be one product in my case, right? Which is something that can be scalable. So I'm going to sell you is a way that you can have your uh, an internet presence where you are responsible to manage and deliver all of your aspect, all of your products in your e-commerce. Uh, Perhaps most of people can go is with just one Instagram account or any TikTok or Twitter, something like that. But for example, those who are offering this is for digital products. For digital products, well, you don't need uh, perhaps maybe you don't need that e-commerce side. But when you offer is digital physical products, you might want to create your own e-commerce, right? And an e-commerce where it improves the user experience in a way that you get inbound leads coming out of your website and asking for where you can get those products, uh, asking for more ways to get your products and things like that. So that's might be one way of looking at this. And again, this is just me talking out loud when it comes to business and and relate see the relationship between scaling on technology and business and the reason why technology, especially the tech industry, explode massively, right? And it's because that align to the business, to the success of a business, the growth, the scalability, right? So the more able you are to the more reach you have to offering a service or a product, the better off allegedly it will be for you. As long as you know how to improve your own process, that'll be great for you. Again, that's the ideal world, but in reality, things are not that Disney. So, so the next step you want to take on your consulting journey, once you have exactly. So the next step you want to take on your consulting journey, once you landed some additional clients, you know how to send a service agreement, you know how to secure payment clients, and you have started to have some progress. You have to remember that scale to multiple clients is the ultimate goal. And again, uh, I will ponder this idea. I will think about more about this idea. Is that the reason of why The business needs to scale. All right, the root of the reason why the business needs to scale. Uh, but again, is this. So the next step you want to take on your consulting journey. Once you landed some additional client, you know how to send a service agreement. You know how to secure payment. You started to have some progress. You have to remember that scale to multiplying is the ultimate goal. This is how you grow your business and you'll turn into a steady flow of income. Because once you have multiple clients to pay you in multiple different companies, different industry, let's say, that will help you diversify your revenue and you also have multiple sources of income. One key to scale your business is simple. Deliver a top quality product. Remember that your reputation is everything and people spend on things that they trust in life. Love everything you do, especially in your business. Customer relationship management. If you struggle with it, remember that it's all about getting leads for that and repeat the process. So with that, I'll see you forward in what am I going to say? With that, I'm going to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.